Hi, Sue here from Scott Properties Group, and today we are chatting with Steve Wilson of Jims Building and Pest in Noosaville on the Sunshine Coast here in beautiful Queensland. So thank you, Steve, for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. A lot of questions come up about building a pest, and I know it's not the most sexiest of subjects, especially if you're talking termites.
Yes.
But I will take a broader view on it. And what I would like to ask you is, why do you need to get a building and pest inspection?
Very good question. Buying or selling a house, this is something that we do every day. So when you do get to the opportunity to buy a house, you don't always understand what is involved. What I do is make sure the house is structurally safe. There's no water or moisture that shouldn't be there, and I identify any asbestos in the house if you are concerned about asbestos in the house.
Because most of the houses, is it pre-1990?
Pre-1990.
Yeah, will have it, potentially could have asbestos.
Yes,
is that right?
they can quite easily. Yeah.
But not always necessarily a disaster.
No, not always a disaster. You can easily remove it. If you identify it, you can then remove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's often a question that comes up with buyers wondering, the word asbestos conjures up in manner of nasty things.
So. People do get concerned about it. And the best advice is to remove it if you do find it.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so other than that, that's on the building aspect.
Well, they're the three important things that we need to look at, and it's the structural side of the moisture side, and the other one is the timber pest and termites.
Okay.
Really important and a huge concern for a lot of people in Queensland. We go to a lot of trouble in identifying them, and also encouraging people to put in chemical and physical barriers to ensure that the termite doesn't enter that property. One of the main problems is that they enter without knowing it. Once they're in the house, they can quietly go about their business and destroy the house.
Yeah, we bought a property some years ago, which had termite live. But look, it was dealt with. You can probably, if you were to go up in the roof, you'd probably find a few of the beams were still gnawed because there's no point. But we had an external barrier put out, and we kept that going and had it refilled every, whatever it is, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, chemicals last between 5 and 8 years, depends on the chemical. So that's one of the areas which we look at very closely, is to make sure that there is a barrier, chemical or physical. But we recommend the chemical, and hopefully the way the house is built, which is a key point in the design of houses these days, is the way it's been put together. Providing a visual barrier is the key thing for identifying the entry point for termites into houses.
Okay. They're pesky little things, aren't they?
They are, and very costly.
And very costly,
Very costly,
if you don't catch them. So, okay, well, look, that's great. It just answers that question that people always ask, well, is it absolutely necessary? And obviously, we usually say to everyone, look, it's a no-brainer. Why would you not do it? Why would you not do it? It's okay for what it costs, for what it takes to do. The peace of mind alone is really, really good.
For the cost, average cost is around $500, and you're spending $500,000 plus, so it is a no-brainer.
Absolutely, it's a total no-brainer. Thank you so much for that, Steve. Really appreciate that and explaining it out for us. We are planning to catch up with Steve again over the next few days and weeks, and we've got 2 other topics that we're going to ask Steve to explain on. And one is, how does the building and pest process actually work? And the other one is, how often should you get your building and pest inspection done? And that's a really interesting one. So we'll catch up with you again in a few weeks, Steve, and go through those subjects.
Okay.
And for the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this educational video on building and pests, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Bye for now.